You are Locked On Buffaloes POSTCAST, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
It is your Locked On Buffaloes postcast right here on your Locked On Buffs YouTube channel. Hope everyone in Buff Nation is hanging in there out there after yet another blowout loss for the Colorado Buffaloes as they get absolutely destroyed, despite being in this game at one point. Your final score in this one here, 42-17. The Buffs are looking for answers in any way in which they can get them. I mean, that is now 4 consecutive losses for Coach Prime and his CU Buff squad. Lost to Utah coming off the bye, blown out in that game 53-7. Followed up with a 52-17 home loss to Arizona. And then you go to West Virginia, a game that, seemed winnable considering what West Virginia has been this season. And CU loses that game, albeit relatively close, one possession, 29-22. Second bye of the season last week. Get Juju Lewis acclimated, get this team ready to go to lock in down the stretch for senior night, final home game of the year against the 25th ranked Arizona State Sun Devils. And what do the Colorado Buffaloes do tonight? They lay an egg, losing this game to Arizona State in their home finale. Your final score, 42-17. Whew. A lot to dive into here tonight on the postcast, folks. Hope everyone is doing well out there. We got a comment. Tonight looked like Texas versus Georgia, but worse. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe. And, it's interesting, right? Because Colorado was in this game, really up until about the fourth quarter for the most part. They actually outscored Arizona State 10-8 there in the third quarter. You go into halftime down 13-7, and you feel like there's a chance. And, I was texting with some buddies, watching the game. And to be completely honest with you, Colorado had no business losing this game tonight. And give credit where credit is due. Arizona State improves to 8-3 on the year, 6-2 in conference play. They are still very much in the running for the Big 12 championship game, if a couple things go their way and whatnot. Colorado, on the other hand, falls to 3-8 on the season and just a measly 1 win. They are 1-7 are the Colorado Buffaloes now in conference play. Tough. And the reason why I say Colorado had, no reason losing this game, like I said, they were in it. The offense leaves something to be desired. The defense, first half, it is what it is. The Colorado Buffaloes generated 4 turnovers in this game. 4 turnovers for 3 points for CU. I mean, you're not just going to win football game. You're just not going to win that way, folks. To have 4 turnovers in a game, that is a blessing. A couple of them in on Arizona State, other, heads up football from Colorado as well. But for them to not be able to take advantage of that, man, that speaks to just where this CU program is at this point in the year, folks. And to be completely honest with you, they look a bit lifeless out there. And it's disappointing. We'll get into Juju Lewis, and this defense as a whole. Tafik Beyer getting hurt early in this game as well. I know a lot of guys are banged up, but, it wasn't like the Arizona State quarterback, Jeff Sims, not exactly a great game from him. I mean, he was making mistake after mistake after mistake out there. I mean, he was 11 for 24 for 206 passing yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. His quarterback rating was 41.4. So it wasn't like Jeff Sims willed this Arizona State team to victory here. You know who did, though? Their running back, Raleek Brown. I mean, he ran all over this Colorado defense today. 22 carries. For any guesses how many yards he had on 22 carries? It's more than 100, more than 150. Heck, it's more than 200. Heck, it's more than 250. 22 carries for 255 yards and a touchdown today for Raleek Brown. I mean, just an absolutely unbelievable game from him. Again, a tip of the cap to him. But this Colorado defense had no answers in this game for him. No answers. Again, in a game in which Arizona State essentially became a bit one-dimensional with the, uninspiring play from Jeff Sims. Again, 11 for 24, 206 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception from Jeff Sims. They got beat in the rushing attack today and self-inflicted wounds by not being able to take advantage of the turnovers. I mean, it is brutal. Jordan Tyson, who's, one of the more dynamic wide receivers in the country today, only 2 catches, but it went for 61 yards. Raleek Brown, as I mentioned, with the receiving touchdown, despite his 255 yards on the ground tonight. Derek Esbio, I hope I said that correctly. 4 receptions for 87 yards and a tutty. A long reception of 68 yards. I probably could have scored on that CU defense tonight. And I'm obviously joking there a little bit, but that's how they played tonight on defense. Completely uninspiring play from CU on the defensive side of the ball. Offense wasn't much better, for being completely honest with ourselves. Let's take a look at this here real quick. Julian Lewis, who's supposed to be the messiah, the answer for Colorado at the quarterback position, under 200 yards passing tonight, folks. 19 for 38, 161 passing yards, and a touchdown. No interceptions, but a quarterback rating of 22.1. 22.1. I just told you what Jeff Sims was, 41.4. Juju Lewis was double as bad. 22.1 today for Juju. The offense, just really nothing to write home about. Sincere Brown, your leading receiver, 3 receptions for 50 yards. Okay, nice, cool. Joseph Williams, 7 catches for 39 yards. And this isn't about the players specifically, because I think the issues with Colorado are more than just the players. And the messed up part is, if you've listened to me on the postcast before, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't know necessarily that it's a talent issue with this CU team. Now, you're probably sitting back and saying, Aniello, how could it not be a talent issue if they keep getting blown out game after game after game? I hear you. That's definitely part of it. But it's coaching more than anything to me. They look unprepared for the moment. They look lackadaisical out there. And, I'm, fortunate enough to have been around the program for a little bit. And I have, plenty of friends that went to CU and some elder people that I know, like not like old people, but, people that are my senior, that went to CU in the early 2000s and in the 90s. And obviously the 90s were great and things tapered off in the early 2000s and the mid 2000s, essentially when they went to the Pac-12. And, there's a lot of takes out there and people that I've talked to that this is maybe the worst coaching performance, not just in this game, but this season that they potentially seen from Colorado. I understand there was the 1-win Carl Durrell year, right? That's obviously valid, but Colorado has some fundamental problems with their core, not just with their players, but with their coaching staff and everything about it. It almost feels like you got to tear this thing back down. You got to tear this thing down and build it back up. That's the vibe that I'm kind of sitting with here right now, because whatever they're doing right now, it ain't working. It ain't working, not even close to working. And I know Coach Prime, wants to go out there, and I like Coach Prime, man. I'm a Coach Prime guy. I want him to succeed. I want it to work out here at Colorado. I think there's still a chance that it could. I just think it's going to take, he's got to take a step back. The program's got to take a step back. The players that are coming back next year got to take a step back and reevaluate some things, because this season has been an absolute, utter disappointment. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And look, we understand that naturally there was going to be a drop-off for CU this season after losing Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders to the NFL. We knew that. We knew that was going to be the case. 3 wins bad? Maybe 4 if you're lucky, which would match what Coach Prime put up in his first year here at Colorado. Tough. Makes you, a little uneasy about what the future of the program looks like here moving forward. But it is, excuse me, I'm getting over a sickness, a 42-17 loss for the Colorado Buffaloes in their final home game of the season. All right, let's hit a quick break. When we come back, let's dive into some big picture thoughts on this CU team, man. Where do they go from here? What's up with Juju Lewis? Will he play next week? And just try to make sense of what has been an absolutely dreadful season for this CU team. All that and more next right here on your Locked On Buffs Postcast. Back in just a moment, folks. All right, you guys, real quick, let me tell you about the fine folks over at Omaha Steaks, because the holidays always feel a little easier when you already know the perfect gift. And Omaha Steaks makes it almost too simple. Whether you're treating yourself this season or sending something memorable to friends and family, Omaha Steaks delivers handcrafted perfection right to their door. And this week is the best time to jump in because their cyber sale is here and the deals are huge, guys. There's so many options. The quality is exactly what you hope for. Incredibly tender steaks, rich flavor, and meals that make hosting or weeknight cooking that much easier. And their variety is undefeated. It's underrated. Steaks, burgers, comfort meal, sides, desserts. It's one of those gifts that truly fits anybody. Honestly, it's the kind of gift that brings people together. And if you don't need to guess anyone's size as well, guys, save big on unforgettable gifts with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and an extra 20% off select favorites during their cyber sale. And for an additional $35 off, use promo code COLLEGE. That's promo code COLLEGE at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code COLLEGE. Terms, they do apply. See site for details. Guys, I've had Omaha Steaks before. They are phenomenal. Be sure to check them out. Use that promo code COLLEGE, save you some money, and let them know that Locked On Buffs sent you. Let me also tell you about the fine folks over at FanDuel, folks. If you laid the 6.5 tonight with Arizona State, congratulations. But the NBA is back, and there is no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So just head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Check out our friends over at FanDuel and let them know that Locked On Buffs sent you. Okay, welcome on back into your Locked On Buffs postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. If you guys want to give me a follow, you could do so at Media by AP. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Buffs postcast and all the content here on the channel as well. So here's where we're at, a little state of the Colorado Buffaloes to kind of see us out here, because there's really not a whole lot to say about this game, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, I could talk about it as much as I want, but the fact of the matter is that this team is fundamentally broken. And I know that sounds strong, but there is something wrong with this Colorado Buffaloes team beyond the X's and O's. Something is rotten in that core. What is it? I'm not so sure. But here's the reality of the situation, folks. You're looking at a 3-win Colorado Buffalo team with their 3 wins coming against Delaware, Wyoming, and Iowa State, albeit the Iowa State, a good quality win. That was the win that made you think they were figuring something out. You know, competing for a bowl game. That is now completely out of the equation. It's been out of the equation for this CU team. The Iowa State 24-17 win at home is the only game in which you can hang your hat on, for the most part. If you want to hang your hat on Delaware or Wyoming, be my guest. I'm not going to. You should have won those games. But the Iowa State game is the one game that you feel like you could hold your hat on or hang your hat on if you're a Colorado Buffalo fan. Outside of that, could have beat Georgia Tech, but you didn't. Embarrassed by Houston. Lose a tough game to BYU. Lose to TCU. Blown out against Utah. Blown out against Arizona. Lose to West Virginia. Blown out against Arizona State. I mean, we're looking at more blowouts with this Colorado Buffaloes team this season than wins. Houston, double-digit loss. TCU, double-digit loss. Utah, double-digit loss. Arizona, double-digit loss. And now Arizona State, double-digit loss. That's 5 double-digit losses to just 3 wins on the season for CU. Think about that. Think about that. So where do we go from here? You know, we'll see if Juju Lewis ends up playing in the season finale. That'll be next week on the road against Kansas State. TBD on the time there. We'll see. Or does he try to preserve the redshirt year? You know, after the game, he's talking about, you know, I'm just trying to get the guys that are going to be here next year on the same page, get the reps. So it sounds like Julian Lewis isn't going anywhere. You never know in this day and age with college football and college athletics in general with the transfer portal. So we shall see on that front. But what you saw here tonight, man, is just more of the same. And unfortunately, it's just been a painful, slow crawl to an end of a dreadful season for CU. And, you know, you thought maybe, okay, after the second bye, right, Julian Lewis gets some more time under his belt. Maybe they could put up a fight tonight against Arizona State, a ranked Arizona State team that's 25th overall in the country entering into this game. They did put up a fight in the first half. You know, the final score is not indicative of how close this game was at one point. That is fair to say. But again, when you have 4 turnovers that result in 3 points, man, that's not going to get you anywhere. I mean, the opposing team's running back is running for over 250 yards. You're not going to win the game. This is just facts. Like, I'm not trying to be a hater, man. I like CU. I like Dion. I think Coach Prime can figure this thing out, but this season has been dreadful. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. See, we got a comment here. Buffs can't stop a nosebleed. 100% they can't stop a nosebleed, man. They can't. So it was disappointing. Again, we'll see what happens next week against Kansas State. Put a bow on the season. But Arizona State routs CU tonight 42-17. Colorado now 3-8 on the year, 1-7 in conference play. Arizona State improves to 8-3, 6-2 in the conference. All right, folks, that's going to do it for me on the program here tonight. On your way out the door, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. Do me a favor, do Kevin a favor as well. Try to get some sleep, roll over to the NFL tomorrow, and we'll put a bow on the mercifully painful season for the Colorado Buffaloes next week. Take care, folks. Happy Thanksgiving as well. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.